a lot of us there in Limerick, even though she went to Mary I, a lot of us there at that vigil, there was hundreds and hundreds of people. A lot of us won't have known her. But we all know someone who could have been Ashling. And there's a real unified sense that something has to be done, something meaningful has to be done to make sure that we don't have to live with this constant fear anymore. We don't have to feel this constant exhaustion of having to take extra measures before we go out at night, and this idea of us carrying personal alarms with us, having to buy an alarm, having to buy the batteries, all this stuff that's being suggested to make us safe, when what could make us safe is if men stopped attacking us.
Yes.
Today's case brings us to Ireland and to the county Offaly. Offaly has a population of around 83,000 people. It is known for being the home of the only extinct volcano in the Republic of Ireland. This lies on Crohan Hill. It rises from the bog of Allen and it dominates the surrounding plains. And this case takes us to a town called Tullamore, which is considered the most central island on the island of Ireland. The town is famous for the whisky that bears its name, Tullamore Dew. And this story begins with Ashling Murphy. She was born on July 6, 1998, to parents Kathleen and Raymond Murphy. She was the youngest of their 3 children, having 2 siblings, Amy and Cathal. Ashling was born in Blue Ball, which is near the town Tullamore. Growing up, Ashling would play violin, something she would take into adulthood. She was known to be quite a talented fiddler, and in fact, her whole family were musical. She was well known in the musical circles across the country of Ireland.
Hi, I'm Ashling and this is Amy Murphy. We're sisters, we're from Blue Ball, so just out the road, and we're delighted to be here for the Tullamore Chad Fest. There's a multitude of sessions and events and concerts going on throughout the weekend. I would highly recommend anyone in the area or anywhere, if you can travel, it's well worth it. We're going to play a selection of tunes for you. First, we're going to play a hornpipe called Xena Warrior Princess Hornpipe. Then we're going to go into a reel, which is Paddy Ryan's Dream, and then the second reel, we can't think of the name of at the moment. But it might come to us. Yes, exactly.
On her spare time, Ashling would give music lessons and spend time with her family and friends, and also her boyfriend. Ashling was an ambitious, talented woman. She gained a primary teaching qualification from Mary Immaculate College in Limerick, after which she went on to teach as a first class teacher in Durrow National School. First class in Ireland is the very same as first grade in America, and children begin between the ages of 6 and 7. Ashling remained in this job up until her untimely death. Ashling made a New Year's resolution that would keep her fit and healthy. She would go jog after work. This was usually between the time of 3 and 4 p.m, as this is when she finished work. She wanted to get her jog out of the way, so then she'd have the rest of the day to do whatever she wanted to do. And on the 12th of January 2022, this is exactly what Ashling done. She finished work at 3 and then she went for her jog. She went to the Grand Canal in Tullamore. This was a popular spot for locals to walk their dogs or go on a jog. And although the canal is secluded in some parts, lined with big trees and greenery, there was houses along certain parts. and it was the middle of the day and it was very bright outside. Mind you, even if it wasn't the middle of the day, a 23-year-old woman, or any woman for that fact, should be able to jog around a public place with a complete sense of safety. But unfortunately for Ashling, at around 4 p.m, while she was still jogging and still keeping to her New Year's resolution, she was brutally attacked. She fought back, desperately fighting for her life. And the Gardaí, which is the police force in Ireland, they found evidence that she used her keys to desperately fight back her attacker. But Ashling would eventually succumb to her attacker, overpowering her. Ashling done everything right on this day. She went jogging in a public area and in the middle of the day. 2 women who were also on a jog that day, they witnessed the attack, and they had no phones on them. One of the women quickly knocked on the door of a nearby house. The woman who knocked at the door knew the resident at the house. His name was Tommy Martin. He opened the door to find a distressed and frantic woman asking to use his phone, while also explaining the situation. However, it was too late. Ashling was found dead, murdered in cold blood in the middle of the day. Her death was ruled as strangulation. The Gardaí quickly got to work. They assigned 50 officers and detectives to the case. They were confident that they would catch the man responsible, who they believe had randomly targeted Ashling due to the 2 eyewitnesses and a Falcon Storm mountain bike, which was recovered near the crime scene. This mountain bike was especially important due to its green and yellow front forks. They were very distinctive. With this, the Gardaí detained a 40-year-old man based on the descriptions given. He was then released after clearing him of all suspicion. However, due to the threats and abuse he received online after the arrest was leaked, he had to be taken to a safe house for the night after his release. Now this is not okay. He was arrested and released without charge the same day, and he was put under a witch hunt by the public. It's innocent until proven guilty after all. This can tarnish some innocent person's life. On top of having the witnesses and the evidence of the bike, there was also DNA left on Ashling's body. This would come in very useful when a man would show up in Tallaght Hospital in Dublin. The hospital in Tallaght is an hour and 10-minute drive from Tullamore. The man arrived at the accident and emergency room in the hospital with a number of injuries, and he couldn't explain them. Ones which may have been caused by a woman fighting for her life with a set of sharp keys. The man coincidentally had links to County Offaly also, which is where Tullamore is located. The hospital staff, they knew something was wrong, so they called the Gardaí and they explained the situation, and they said it was very suspicious. After some background checks by the Gardaí, they took him in for questioning as soon as he was released from the hospital. The Gardaí searched 2 properties, one in Dublin where the suspect lived, and one in County Offaly where the attack took place. 2 cars were also seized and searched, one of which was a taxi that the suspect used to drive the hour and 10-minute journey to the hospital. Finally, on Tuesday, which was January the 18th, the same day of Ashling Murphy's funeral, the main suspect was discharged from Tallaght Hospital and he was arrested on the suspicion of Ashling Murphy's murder. And the following day he was named as 31-year-old Jozef Puska, and he was a Slovakian national. The next day, on the 19th of January, Josef was brought before the local district court and he was wearing a grey tracksuit, whilst Ashling's relatives stood at the back of the courtroom. All of them were holding photos of their beloved daughter, sister and girlfriend. Outside, a lot of crowds gathered in a joint support for Ashling's family, and they had a common hatred for the man accused of taking her life. Josef was asked how did he plead while he was in court, and his reply was no. He didn't say not guilty or guilty, he just said no. Josef was granted legal aid as he said he didn't have enough money to pay for his own solicitor, and his defence solicitor said Josef was on disability benefits, which gave him €200 a week from the social welfare. Judge Catherine Staines kept Josef in custody at Clover Hill Prison until January the 26th, 2022. This is when he would appear in court for the murder of Ashling Murphy. At the moment, this is all we know about Josef. The case is still quite new, and as the trial takes place, we are bound to gain more information on the background of him. A second man was arrested the same day. This was in relation to holding evidence from the police. However, he was released without charge. To this day, Josef sits in prison awaiting trial, which is set for June the 6th in 2023 in the Central Criminal Court in Dublin. The trial is expected to last up to 3 to 4 weeks. Ashling Murphy's funeral went ahead on January the 18th, 2022. It was held at St. Bridget's Church in County Offaly. Attendees at the funeral included the Taoiseach Michael Martin, President of Ireland Michael D. Higgins, and the Minister for Justice Helen McEntee. The local community, as well as the whole of Ireland, they all showed up in their masses to pay respects to Ashling, along with friends and family, speaking about their times together. Her boyfriend of 5 years, Ryan Casey, who Ashling was said to be building a house with, on land gifted to them by Ryan's grandfather, less than a month before the murder. He spoke of his grief and loss, describing Ashling as everyone's shining light and his soulmate. He went on to say, and I quote, "She was always there, always willing to help anybody, anywhere, at any time, and she always put herself last. She had so many hobbies and talents, which all combined to make her the loving person she is. We were all so lucky to know and spend time with Ashling." End quote. Schools and colleges around the country observed a minute's silence at 11 AM on the day of her funeral. This was in Ashling's memory.
Well, we're joined now by James Hogan, the principal of Sculnave Columkill in Durrow in County Offaly, where Ashling Murphy was a first-class teacher. Thanks for joining us this evening. And firstly, my condolences to you and the whole school community and obviously Ashling's family and friends as well. It's just a desperately sad day. What can you tell us about Ashling as you knew her?
Well, look, thanks very much. We're devastated. The whole school community is devastated, but we have lost a dear colleague and a friend in our school. Ashling was a shining light in our school. She lit up the corridors. The pupils' faces were gleaming every day to saw her. An extraordinary, fantastic human being, a lovely lady, excellent teacher. She was exceptionally talented at other areas such as sports, traditional Irish music scene. I knew her on a personal level as well as my principalship, and had the privilege to grow up with her playing music. She was involved in conducting the choir in our school. Unfortunately, she was not with us long, since March 2021, and she never got the real chance to show off these talents, and that's what we're so deeply saddened by, and the community is in shock. Our staff have been fantastic today. It's been a devastating day in our school, and we've pulled together as a team, as we do in Duro, with the parents, the pupils and the stakeholders, and we've come together to work through this challenging time.
And teaching is a vocation, as we know, but it was a dream for Ashling as well, wasn't it?
She was made for it. It's all she wanted, and she gave 110% to anything she put her hand to, but in particular teaching. The kids idolised her, and she gave them so much encouragement and wanted them to do their best. And you want to see the tears flowing from them children's face this morning, coming this morning. It was just...
Ashling's murder came after a number of highly publicised killings of women, which brought violence against women at the top of everyone's mind across Ireland and the United Kingdom. Since 1996, 244 women in Ireland have been killed by men, with 80% of solved crimes being carried out by a man the woman knew. In a direct response to the murder, the Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, brought a request for new legislation which could make stalking and non-fatal strangulation carrying a maximum prison sentence of 10 years. The reason they included stalking in this is because Jozef Puska, he may have stalked another victim just 2 hours before he killed Ashling. This was based upon CCTV footage found of him. Where Ashling was killed on the Grand Canal was at a stretch called Fiona's Way, named after a woman named Fiona Pender, who went missing from Tullamore 25 years ago. Fiona has never been found to this day, and it is believed that she came to harm as she was pregnant with her boyfriend's baby at the time of her disappearance, and was said to be excited for the new chapter ahead. So in 2017, Fiona's Way was created in memory of Fiona, along with a sculpture of her created by her brother John. What are the odds Ashling was murdered on the same stretch of land, named after a woman whose life was also cut short, likely at the hands of a male as well? As a country, we need to be having conversations of misogynistic behaviour. We should not be asking how women could be safer while out running and walking. Instead, we need to ask why women are not safe while out walking and jogging at any time of the day. The trial will hopefully take place on the 6th of June 2023, and we should find out more details of why this happened and the full background of the perpetrator. Now, this case shines a bad light on our little country, but as is the case with every other murder in other countries, it's very much the minority. Hopefully Ashling's family get the justice they deserve, and my thoughts are with Ashling Murphy's family and friends at this time.